Great Awakening and Grand Rising. I'm Kaneen Matha, and for the sake of this not being a long-winded video, I'm going to interject a clip right here where Diamond Collier is talking about my mental
These two
stability.
people, Hope and this other one, I think they're three. I'm counting. I'm adding people. Um, it's three. I think they're just genuinely bad people. Um, Hope, Tila. It's not. I think it's not that Tila. I think Tila is a bad person. I think that she is mentally unstable. I think she's crazy. I don't. I think at the core of her, I think she's a good person. She's just mentally unstable. I just think she's mentally unstable.
I'll be the first to tell you, my brain does not process information in the way that other people's brain does. And typically, this happens with extremely smart people. There's been sovereign leaders of nations. Like, nothing wrong with my mental not being like everyone else's. But it's the way that she tried to paint it as if it was a detriment to me, or if it somehow made me inferior, less effective, less powerful, less capable, less competent. No. The way that my brain functions, the way that my mental is set up, it's set up to be in an environment where people have more autonomy, where people have more sovereignty. And so my glitches, or my those moments where I have like meltdowns, or where I'm being extremely emotional or passionate, they are me releasing energy brought on by being around so many people who are constantly wearing a mask and performing. I'm a very empathic person, and so that release has to come out, and that release to people who have just totally accepted their role in Uncle Tom's Cabin ups on the plantation. Because a lot of girls be thinking that they revolutionary when they're not. You think it's revolutionary when you talk about, this is no shade to Dominique Morgan, because I have said shady things about her in the past before I really knew her. And I still don't know her. But I have said shady things about her in the past. So what I'm getting ready to say now, I've heard a lot of things about her that sounded shady, but this is not a dig at her. But you said that she was the only, one of the only girls that was moving money from them white people to the black girls. And how did that help us collectively? Because we have to think about it. None of us have been investing in true liberation, and true liberation doesn't look like more chains. True liberation means getting back to basics. It means bringing trans people up, or queer people up, or black people to know how once again to survive off of the land, to grow their own fruits and vegetables, to make their own medicine, not getting more bogged down and wrapped up in these institutions. What y'all actually did was give a lot of girls the taste of the good life, traveling to foreign places, eating good food at fine dining, driving nice cars, living in expensive areas. And now with the funding cuts, those girls then fell from grace. And a lot of those girls are going to end up on Skid Row. A lot of those girls are going to end up doing survival sex work again because you didn't give them any real tools. Okay. But actually teaching us how to be self sufficient. And so money should have been moved to teaching people basic how to survive with the bare minimum, how to survive back at the basics, because in the trajectory of how all of this is going, that's going to be unavoidable for some people. And it's clear that once y'all get to a certain status, the ones who graduated from the HBCUs, not all of you, the ones who have the education, the ones who have the access, what y'all do when y'all get to a certain space is y'all start saying, oh, she's weird. Oh, she's crazy. Instead of saying she's rooted. Because that's your problem with me, Diamond. It's not that I'm crazy. It's not that I'm weird. It's that I'm whole. And it's that I'm rooted. The things that you have brushed off, people who struggle with self-medicating, you don't really understand why people have bottom surgery. You don't get that. But these things are indigenous. These things are things that our ancestors have done for thousands and thousands of years. We have in rituals, the indigenous people use substances to actually interact with spirit, to interact with different ancestors. Our ancient ancestors had bottom surgery in order to feel more connected with their divine feminine. And so and it gives us a different expression. It gives us a different perspective on life. A whole, more whole. And so when you girls get to a certain level of access, yeah, you play that black card, but you are indoctrinated as fuck. We identify differently as melanin rich people. Oftentimes when people identify as African American or Black American, they're identifying in that way because either they're completely ignorant of what that means or they're elitist. I identify as Black and Indigenous to remind myself that I am not a foreigner to these lands. My ancestors were here before the slave ship came. And so that requires a stewardship and a connection to the land. A lot of y'all are no longer connected to the land. You are more invested in the systems and the institutions than the actual land. But I'm the one that's mentally unstable when it is actually the land that holds you, not the institutions. You use the curse words, you use the vernacular, you sound black, but you are so indoctrinated that it really gives Uncle, Auntie Ruckus tease. Y'all embarrassing us in front of massa. But I'm the one that's crazy. I'm the one that's weird. The only way trans people are going to survive in your reality and the reality that you're working towards is if everybody can somehow get a bag. If everybody somehow got a bank account full of massive money, a bank account full of massive validation. See, this is where our ideologies clash. Because when I was little, I was a Boy Scout. And I could go back to that. I know how to survive in nature. I ain't had to do it in a while, but it's just like riding a bike. And I revisit that intentionally. I learned how to mix healing herbs. I'm not as good as I would like to be, but I'm good. I know how to cook from scratch. I know how to make things grow. And those things are valid because as hard as you fight to take all the massive money and give it to black folk, when they done told us for years that you can't dismantle master's house with master's tools. Yet, I'll be damned if y'all don't keep trying. To keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is what? It's insanity. Now, you sit up here and talk about how you are abolitionist and you anti-establishment. I would love to see what you did if you came home and your house had been broken into. Because I haven't called the police since 2014. And when my home was broken into while my last husband was incarcerated, I looked the perpetrator in the face, ran him out of my house, me and my neighbor, and we still didn't call the police. We still didn't file a police report because I could tell that he was suffering with addiction, and what was throwing him in jail gonna do for him but make him worse. But you so anti-establishment. Girl, you is not girl, you is not an abolitionist. Girl, you is invested in this system. You just want to see more black people who have white souls. And when I say white, I don't mean Caucasian. Because white is a culture, not a color. You want to see more black people with white souls in power, who gonna run this thing just like white folk, but they gonna have a barbecue and a card game and a kiki ball that makes it black. They gonna put on a little Marvin Gaye, little Teddy Pendergrass. They gonna quote Zora Neale Hurston and James Baldwin. And oh, what a wonderful world it will be, right? It's gonna be well with your soul, huh, sis? The fact that y'all was moving all this money, and y'all were not teaching black trans people how to survive with the basics. Y'all should have been putting money into herbalism, into apothecary, into retreats and survival trips. You should have been putting money into teaching people how to survive if all the power goes off, if all the electronics, like that should have been what funding should have been put into, not us trying to replace cogs in an already failing system. The fact that our community leaders have had this much faith in the American government, Kamala Harris nonetheless. Now, bitch, that's just plain cuckoo, cuckoo. That's all that y'all have been getting funds for, is to be different cogs in a system that's already collapsing. And it's been collapsing for a while. It's been collapsing for so long that Martin Luther King said, I may be integrating my people into a burning house. Yet, y'all still hurting people in there. But I'm the one who's mentally unstable. Now, I know I'm older than you, but you're old enough to remember She-Ra. See, I'm Adora when she realized she was She-Ra and went to join the rebellion in the Whispering Woods. You bitches still Adora working with the Horde. Me and you clashed because Kanye West said slavery seemed like a choice to me. 400 years it seemed like a choice. And bitch it do. To continue to do the same thing after people constantly show you to get out there and vote for the bare minimum, to get out there and be so invested in the bare minimum. Other indoctrinated, simple-minded sheep might agree with you when you give your assessment or your diagnosis of my mental health and my character, but celestially, the ancestors is looking at y'all, the ones who were erased, the ones who are not celebrated during Black History Month because they never wanted to participate in this, the ones that gave their life because they didn't want us to be subjected to this. The ones who never wanted us to lose our autonomy and our sovereignty. The ones who never wanted us to be turned into sin. They're looking at you. They're looking at all the likes of you. And they're shaking their head in shame. Did I prove myself to be more mentally unstable today? Rhinestone? Nochokin? That was literally your internet name when I met you. Nochokin. My names have been Tila, Phoenix, Sassy, Kiki, Cleopatra, Andronice. Never no choking, sis. Never no choking. But I'm mentally unstable, girl. And you don't like me because I got weird. You gave me a second chance. Girl, I gave you a second chance when I went to B-tag with my tail between my legs so you could show me who you really were. You really thought it was you that was given the second chance. I gave you the second chance. And a third. And you showed me who you were every damn time. Layla Nation, Purple Ones, rise,